Hello Year 7, it's Miss Mulcair here today. We're going to be looking at another adventure article today in our lesson. Just to start you off, there is a paragraph here with some missing punctuation and capital letters. So I'd like you to copy that down and fill in as many as you can so that you can make it make sense. So what I want you to do is press pause on the video now to give you a chance to do that, and then come back when you're finished. Okay, so I have the correct version here for you, so you can read through and check your answers. Okay, so today we are going to be using our magnifying glass to understand more about the author. The reason that we're doing this is to be able to understand the author's opinion on adventures. So we're going to be looking at a different article. And today's word is non-fiction. So the definition of non-fiction is writing that is based on fact. So these articles that we're reading are based on the writer's own experience, something that's really happened to them, and not a story that comes from their imagination, like, for example, Harry Potter. Okay, so non-fiction is writing that is based in fact. I want you to go round the mind map here and try to use it in a sentence. Decide what category is it in. Is it a noun, an adjective, or a verb? Does it have an opposite word? And how does it sound? What's the first sound? How many syllables are there? Can you think of any rhyming words? So pause the video now to give yourself a chance to do that, and then come back when you've finished. Okay. So today's article then is called Terrible Torturous Thailand. So I want you to write down what the first thing you notice about this article. So we did this in the last lesson as well, but I want to know if there's any difference with this article, what you think the first thing we notice about it is, and why you think this is. Now remember to use your full sentences. So the first thing you notice about the article is because. So just pause the video to give yourself a chance to do that. Okay, so we're going to read through the article together. There'll be a copy of this on class charts if you want to go through it bit by bit, and you'll need it for your questions later on. But I do have it on the video here as well, so that you'll be able to read along with me for at least the first time. Okay. Last month I left the lazy, sunny, peaceful town of Newenden for what I thought would be the tropical wonder that is Thailand. How very wrong I was. I stepped off the plane and was nearly washed down the steps by a tsunami that fell from the sky. Sopping wet and miserable, I then had to wait 4 hours in line to get through security before they had lost my luggage. Not the best start to my tropical holiday. As soon as I arrived at the hotel, I slept my first day away, hoping for a better start the next morning. How wrong I was. I awoke to the thunderous noise of rain pelting at my windows, and not a glimpse of summer sun could be seen. However, I remained hopeful and decided to take my first trip to the animal sanctuary that was north of the island. Luckily, after the 2-hour car journey, the sun had shone through the clouds, and I arrived ready to help feed and look after the rescued animals. Once again, I was very wrong. There was no place for any rescued animals. I saw dead elephants in the river, live ones being whipped by the keepers to give rides to the public, starving tigers and lions that looked like household cats rather than their majestic selves, and birds that had had their feathers being plucked off by staff. It was the most horrific sight I had ever seen. This theme continued through the rest of my time in Bali as I went to a sea turtle rescue centre, only to discover that they were stealing and selling baby turtles to be raised in zoos instead of releasing them in the sea. This is even more tragic when you learn that only 1 in 50 baby sea turtles survive. This terrible place is enough to make anyone think twice before going on an adventure. Not everywhere is what it seems or promises to be. I longed for my happy, peaceful home rather than this terrible and torturous place. Stay at home. Okay. So, there are 5 questions here for you to answer, and again I want you to do this in 4 sentences. So that question 1 there is, what words in the article show us that he did not enjoy his time in Thailand? So the full sentence that you would write would be the words blank, blank and blank show us that the author did not enjoy his time in Thailand. So I'll read out the rest of the questions for you. Question 2. What does the phrase nearly washed down the steps by a tsunami tell us about how the author feels? Question 3. What does the phrase I then had to wait 4 hours in line show us about how the author feels? Question 4. What does the phrase it was the most horrific sight I had ever seen tell us about Thailand? And number 5. What does the phrase terrible and tortuous place tell us about Thailand? So pause the video so you have a chance to answer these 5 questions and then come back when you're finished. Okay. And then just to finish off today, Year 7, I want you to just write down what the worst place you've ever been to is, and can you describe it? What was so horrible about it? It's just a few sentences to explain what the worst place you've ever been to is. Okay, and that's our lesson for today. Make sure that you email your finished work to your teacher so that we can read through it and give you any feedback that we can. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.